Sawasdee krab. I'm Michael New, your host. Welcome to Thailand Today. Previously, we discussed the increasing role of AI and robotics in Thailand and today's modern world. The technology has also played a crucial role when it comes to handling the COVID-19 pandemic worldwide. In Thailand alone, several technological inventions have been created to assist with the crisis by leading institutions like the Institute of Field Robotics under King Mongkut's University of Technology, Thonburi. Today we continue our discussion with Assistant Professor Dr. Supachai Vongbunyong, Deputy Director for Academic Affairs, Institute of Field Robotics, on the AI and robotic inventions in Thailand that can assist with fighting against COVID-19. Sawasdee krab. Thank you very much for coming back on the show. Appreciate it.
Sorry, krab.
So today we're continuing our discussion. Could you please tell us a bit about this Institute of Field Robotics, or FIBO, is that right?
Right.
What areas of focus are available?
Basically, Institute of Field Robotics, or FIBO, has been established from 25 years ago by Professor Rijit Lavatana, our founder. And we focus on robotics and automations. So we have research, we have development, and we also have students. We have educations that we can grant the degrees from bachelor's to PhD.
Okay.
And we work on a lot of fields in robotics and automations. Yep.
Such as?
For example, we talk about industry and we talk about robotics for life. Okay. So in both sides, from industry, we talk about productivity, how we can how the robots can be implemented in some production line, in some workplace, in order to improve the efficiency and safety and productivity at last. And about robotic for life, we focus on healthcare, we focus on medicals, on entertainment, and a lot of things that robots can be in our life to make our life much more happier.
Well, it sounds like a really fascinating place. Who's eligible to study at FIBO?
Everyone.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Is there like a cutoff? Like you have to have really good grades in certain areas, or you have to study math or programming?
Oh, not really. Firstly, I think the enrollment or that university systems, I think is important, but it's not everything.
Right.
Okay. But if you have passion, if you want to know more, if you want to learn more, not just about robotics, but just about everything that you can automate and do things like that we can apply the technology, you can most welcome.
So it's a really comprehensive program. So you can come in with nothing and you'll teach every step of the process.
But basically we have bachelor degrees, master degrees, and PhD. That for the formal study, right?
So you can take it as far as you're interested in taking it.
And another way that maybe you work with us. For example, we can join some project together, so we can learn things together.
I see.
Yep, things like that.
So hands-on learning.
Yep.
You had mentioned that FIBO was involved with handling the COVID-19 pandemic. What are you guys doing exactly?
We actually, we call it mobile duck. Okay. Previously, originally, it's called FACO, or FIBO Against COVID-19. Okay. So in the first place, we think that these pandemic situations will be very hard time for Thailand and everyone. Okay. So when the medical doctors and the nurse and health worker are at the front line of this battle, what we can do is we can help support them. Okay. That's why we develop this robotic solutions. Okay, to help them. For example, doing telemedicines, doing some logistics of food and medicines, and some teleoperations. So make sure that the nurse and doctor will be safe to have some distance with the patients.
Okay, so the medicine or the food could be delivered by robots.
These robots.
Okay, that way the doctors don't have to wear their PPE and go in. Right. A little bit more about the medical platform. How did it get started?
Okay, Modmarac platform is actually a set of robots. Okay, the first one is for telemedicines.
Okay.
The second one is the mobile robots, for transportations, and another one is teleoperations. Okay, so all of these are the base technology that we already have before COVID-19. For example, the cover, the one for logistics, that actually we start around 1 year before the COVID-19 starts.
Okay.
Okay. But those are the base technology. So we have a AMR or autonomous mobile robot that we work with hospitals and develop some solutions that work in hospital for logistics. But at the time COVID-19 comes, we need to take some of those technology and adapt to be able to use in these situations. So the adaptation phase takes few months to be ready to be used.
So humor me, if you will. Say you were in the brain, so to speak, of the robot who has to deliver medicine.
Right.
What's going through that robot's brain when it gives medicine to a patient? Like how does it think about that process?
All right. Okay. Firstly, we have to understand the patient's ward of COVID, right? So you can imagine some negative pressure rooms.
Right.
Some big
Oh,
room.
it's like because it's pressurized for no bacteria or virus
things like that.
coming
Things
out.
like that. Things like that. And we want to make sure that nurse and doctor can get in just little, just only limit time.
Minimize contact.
Yep.
Right.
So we have to know that environment first, right? After that, the AMR that we develop, we need to make sure that our robot can work in this environment. Okay. So after that, we talk to doctors for the requirement, for the functional requirement that we need. For example, we need the functions that the patients can do self-service. For example, they have this patient have the tag. Okay, and scan it, and the food partition is open. You can take it, and we need to know that the patients really take the food. The food is okay, but the medicine is more serious. Right? So we need to make sure that the right medicine has been delivered to the right person. Okay, and make sure that this medicine has been taken and taken.
So I imagine it has a camera on board, so it can document
something like that. But by doing that, we also put some we call navigation systems. So the robot need to know that the position of the bed.
Okay, right.
Of everything in the workplace, in the patient's ward. So we can also the robot can automatically navigate to each point. Okay, at the schedule.
So are the locations of, say, the bed and the chair, are these pre-programmed in, or does it have like a camera on board where it can just sense where these things are and maneuver?
So the most effective way we do is we pre-program first, but in the way that we go to that place and drive the robot through one turn, one round. Right. Okay, and collect the map. Collect everything, so we get the data of this room. So after that, we give the robot to walk in this room by itself with the help of some sensors like lidar and vision systems.
Just in case someone moved a chair that wasn't
something
supposed
like
to
that.
be there,
or someone just walked past.
Oh, of course.
Make sure that this
the robot doesn't hit the person.
It.
Yeah. You mentioned two other robots as well. What do they do exactly?
The telemedicine.
Yes.
So this one we call SOFA, S-O-F-A. SOFA. So telemedicine robot, we try to make sure that the doctors are outside the rooms, and this robot can get in, right? So we need to equip a lot of sensors and a lot of sensing equipment with this robot. For example, we have 20x zoom camera. We have heat camera. It's a screening systems and
so it's like basic medical examinations that it can carry out.
Right. So far is equipped with a lot of sensor and sensing equipment that make sure that the doctor can look at the patient through this robot.
And if it senses something drastically wrong or like a really fast heart rate or something, it can call a doctor?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right. But this one, we make sure that the doctor doesn't need to be in that room all the time.
Of course, right. It's just in case there's an emergency,
Yep.
It can call a doctor
Right,
if it senses something.
Right.
So hold on to that thought because we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more of Thailand Today. Don't go away.
How much do you know about Thailand? I'm going to take you on a whirlwind tour all over the country. The northern region is ripe with nature and delicate art. The Isan region is the land of ancient civilizations, folk art, and the lively banks of the Mekong River. The central region is the modern metropolis that still retains the beauty of the Thai way of life. Finally, the southern region is for the sea, the natural coral islands. Thailand is ready for you to go on an adventure and discover all of its hidden charm.
Welcome back. You're watching Thailand Today. We continue our discussion with Assistant Professor Dr. Supachai Vongbunyong, Deputy Director for Academic Affairs, Institute of Field Robotics, on the Institute's technological innovations to fight against COVID-19. For some of the other projects that you're working on, Carver and MUM2, what's being done in terms of research and development on these?
All right. Basically, Carvers and MUM2s are an AMR, or autonomous mobile robot. Okay, and we work pretty much the same things, but we work with different goals at the end. So actually, Carver is a research under FIBO. Okay, and we try to do our deeper. We try to get deeper in this technology and make sure that's work for the hospitals. Okay, so in a hospital, for example, we're working with some partner hospitals to develop the intelligence pharmacy systems, and so using this AMR or Carver, we can complete the logistic loop in the hospitals. Okay, but for MUM2, we work with an industrial partner. So the industrial partner, this one is a big manufacturer in Thailand. Okay, and they have the plan. To research and develop the AGV or AMR. Okay, because there's a big demand in Thailand. So they want to commercialize the MUM2 at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so this become two ways that we can go.
Of course, Thailand is both an aging society and it is a country that gets a lot of medical tourism.
Right.
Do you think these innovations will help these core areas?
Sure, it's both. Okay, so firstly, one of the new S-curve is robotics. Okay, and we step on another S-curve with the healthcare business, right? All this technology can help Thailand in any way. Okay, so in aging society, how we can improve the healthcare systems to be able to support all these people all together. So we need to reduce the workload of the health worker to make sure that they just do the proper things. So, for example, the nurse or caregiver really talk to patients, or the pharmacist really gives deep, very in-depth consultant to the patients. Okay, but right now it's quite different. So the pharmacists in most hospitals or nurse in most hospitals, they do another job. For example, do some stock, and some routine job that should be replaced by robotics and automations. So I think Carver systems in this context, we try to develop the system that can really help this.
Right, so it sounds like you're optimizing the time that the doctors and the nurses spend with their patients. So I suppose the real aim of robotics here is to address all of the basic tasks that have to be done all the time, whether that's a routine checkup, I suppose,
like
or giving medicine, or what are some other examples of things that medical robots can do?
So, for example, we can transport something very, very dangerous. For example, the chemotherapy medicines.
Yeah.
So that's one very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay. And right now, the one who carry it, they are on risk all the time. Okay, robot should do this.
Is this because there's radiation within?
Right.
So if you were handling it all the time, you might be exposed to the negative effects of that treatment.
You will be for sure.
I'd honestly never even considered that. So I imagine that would be the same with any other kind of dangerous substance. It's the fact that you can have this robot handle it.
Right. And some routine job, things like that. The robot should cover it.
What have been some of the most successful medical robots to date?
In Thailand?
Oh, in Thailand and the world.
In the world, I think if we talk about medical robotics, you might know that we have a surgical robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so where the doctor is controlling it and it's very delicate movements.
Yep. So those surgical robot is one of the applications that works and really works. Okay, and other than that is something like to help the patients to do the exercise, to do rehabilitations with very, very, very precise procedure, and we get fast feedback and those things. So it is important. And another thing is for logistics, for pharmacies, and another one could be the diagnostic of some disease. For example, we have AI technology that can read through to the X-ray films, okay, and can diagnose some disease.
Yeah.
Okay, and you will be surprised. We have all of those things in Thailand. We develop in Thailand.
Oh, they were developed in Thailand. Oh,
we also have those things developed in Thailand. Yep.
Well, of course, Thailand has a really top-tier medical industry in general. I mean, there's tons of hospitals in this country. You mentioned all these different robots that were working all around the world and in Thailand.
Yep.
Are there any specific robots that are unique to Thailand?
Unique to Thailand?
The ones that you aren't working on.
Okay.
Some other that have been used here, or perhaps that have been used in Thailand first.
I would say it's not the robot itself that's unique, but the way that we customize that one, the way that we customize the system to be suitable for Thai people and Thai environment, Thai workflow, that's special. For example, let's say we talk about pharmacists.
Right.
Okay. If we go to some other countries like Australia, Japan, or some Europe, the dispensary room is very clean, and patient the patient don't need to wait for a long time to get things right, because everything is quite different.
Yeah.
But for Thailand, if we go to some very, very big public hospital in Thailand, it's very common that to stay for 2 hours to get dispensed with the medicines. So in this case, I think the environment or workflow or a lot of things quite special in Thailand. So the way that we customize our system to be able to work.
Right. So you customize the system to handle the issues that each individual country or hospital is experiencing.
Yep.
Okay. What plans does FIBO have in terms of developing Mot Barirak further for the medical community?
So for Mot Barirak is designed for COVID-19. Okay. So our intention is we research and develop these systems and want everyone to use this system. And right now, we already start the pilot lot with 10 lots and deployed on around 10 hospitals in Thailand. Okay, but after this, we try to make sure that this one is not stopped just in the lab scale, but we want to make sure that this one is go further in the commercialization but it will not be done by FIBO for sure. Okay, so we invite a lot of industrial partners. For example, right now we have a company that works side by side to develop the mum tool. Okay, and after this, that company can take the mum tools and duplicate it and keep developing and make sure that this one is viable in industry.
So you're mostly in charge of prototyping, and then it's up to the big industries to commercialize and popularize them.
Yes.
Do you think your Modbarirak project will expand after COVID-19 is done? Could you see this becoming a staple part of hospitals?
Yes, we want to see that. But it will not be the context of just COVID-19.
Right, but for other diseases as well.
Right. For example, we can keep developing this one for some disease or some service in hospitals, okay, in order to improve the treatment and service in hospital. Yeah.
Doctor, thank you so much for coming on the program. Unfortunately, we're all out of time. Thank you so much to Assistant Professor Dr. Supachai Vongbunyong, Deputy Director for Academic Affairs, Institute of Field Robotics, for joining us again. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us for 2 episodes. That's it for today's episode of Thailand Today. We broadcast every Tuesday to Friday at 9 p.m. on NBT World and live on YouTube. I'm Michael New. สวัสดีครับ